All right, let's dig into understanding the identification of shapes. There are a lot of standards. I already said this earlier and we come back to it now, but there are a lot of standards here related to identification of shapes. So let's look at each of these standards to understand what are the expectations for students for identification of shapes across grades pre-K through 2. So let's see. At preschool, students are expected to describe objects in the environment using the names of shapes. They're also expected to correctly name shapes regardless of orientation or size. And they're expected to compare and analyze 2- and 3-dimensional shapes. So that's in preschool. We see some similar things at kindergarten in terms of expectations for students. So students are expected to describe objects in the environment using names of shapes. They're expected to give precise names of shapes, and they're expected to identify shapes as 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. As we continue to first grade, here you can read the standard related to thinking about shapes. Here this is defining attributes versus non-defining attributes related to shapes and figures. And students are also asked to build and draw shapes that possess specific attributes. Then finally, in second grade, students are expected to recognize and draw shapes that have specific attributes, such as a number of angles or a number of equal faces, or they're also expected to identify triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, and cubes. So lots and lots of good stuff in these standards related to identification of shapes. Now that was a lot of standards that we just reviewed, so I would like you to pull out your standards document and review the expectations for identification of shapes for your students. And then think about these questions. What are some of the prerequisite skills that are necessary for understanding shapes? And then what are we doing with this information? What proceeding skills will build upon these standards?